In the collection of my friend Daniel rests a remarkable artifact, an authentic coin from antiquity bearing the striking image of a war elephant charging into battle. Upon the creature's massive frame sits its handler, directing this living siege engine toward unsuspecting foes. The Roman Empire commissioned this particular piece during Emperor Philip the Arab's reign, specifically crafted to commemorate the Eternal City's millennium celebration through the spectacular secular games. The reverse design served as imperial propaganda, demonstrating to the world that even these magnificent and terrifying exotic beasts had been subdued and harnessed for Roman purposes. However, the initial Roman encounters with these colossal animals were anything but triumphant, resulting in tremendous military casualties. In today's exploration, we shall uncover the complete narrative, the devastating outcome of Rome's inaugural battlefield confrontation with war elephants, the ingenious methods Romans developed to overcome and vanquish these formidable creatures, their subsequent recruitment of elephants against barbarian enemies, their eventual military abandonment of these animals, and their transformation into centerpieces of gladiatorial entertainment and ceremonial pageantry. Our journey begins with that fateful first encounter. Transport yourself to 280 BCE, when the battle-tested Roman Republican forces, veterans of innumerable Italian peninsula conflicts, confronted an adversary wielding previously unknown weaponry that would terrorize even their most seasoned warriors. In the vicinity of Heraclea, located in Lucania throughout southern Italy, Consul Publius Valerius Levinus marshaled his legions to face the formidable army of Pyrrhus, the Epirote monarch. This Pyrrhus would become legendary, his name forever associated with victories so costly they amounted to defeat, hence our modern term Pyrrhic victory, describing commanders who win individual engagements while destroying their capacity for continued warfare. Among the Hellenistic world's most gifted military strategists, Pyrrhus arrived equipped not merely with Macedonian-patterned phalanxes and Thessalian mounted troops, but also approximately 20 war elephants. According to Plutarch's accounts, these beasts likely originated from India, acquired through diplomatic arrangements with either Seleucus I Nicator or Ptolemy Ceraunus. The collision with these ancient worlds equivalent of heavy armor, these moving mountains, as Romans might have conceived them, spelled disaster for Levinus's forces. Contemporary historians recorded the impact, but most terror was inspired by the elephants, monsters never seen before with their hideous appearance, enormous size, smell, and roar. Picture yourself occupying a Roman soldier's position during this unprecedented moment. Perhaps you're a grizzled veteran of Gallic expeditions, advancing with confidence among the frontline troops. Your service record spans 2 decades. Your chest displays valor decorations earned through countless engagements. You've witnessed Celtic warriors launching themselves naked against Roman battle lines, scenes masterfully portrayed in the television series Rome. You've maintained formation within the testudo while arrows rained overhead. Your combat experience seems comprehensive. Then the ground begins trembling beneath your feet. This isn't seismic activity, something far more ominous approaches. Emerging from beyond the hillsides come living mountains, ambulatory masses of flesh and bone, sporting elongated appendages where heads should be, bearing ivory projections exceeding Roman gladius length. Such was the nature of Rome's initial encounter with King Pyrrhus's war elephants, 20 behemoths, each weighing approximately 3 tons. Roman cavalry units initiated the panicked retreat, completely unaccustomed to these animals' visual appearance and distinctive odors. Their flight disrupted their own infantry formations. Plutarch elaborates, horses, before the elephants even approached, were frightened and fled, and when they came closer, could not endure and carried their riders away. Consider the infantry perspective. Confronting a 10-foot mobile mountain launching projectiles and spear thrusts while remaining beyond sword reach, yet capable of trampling opponents without acknowledgement. Elephant flanking maneuvers combined with subsequent epirote cavalry pursuit completed the Roman devastation. Casualty figures reached staggering proportions. Contemporary sources estimate between 7,000 and 15,000 Roman dead and captured. Romans encountering these giants initially, as Pliny the Elder records, mockingly labeled them Lucanian bulls or Lucanian cows, referencing their Lucanian battlefield location and the elephant's alien nature resembling oversized, unfamiliar livestock. Yet Roman character would never permit surrender following initial setbacks. This devastating experience became crucial education, compelling Rome toward developing effective countermeasures against this revolutionary lethal force. This defeat transcended mere battlefield losses, fundamentally questioning Roman military machine superiority. Imagine contemporary Houthis successfully destroying an American aircraft carrier using revolutionary maritime drone technology. Could decades of technological advancement truly be negated by singular battlefield innovations? By the 3rd century BCE's opening, the Roman Republic had emerged from Samnite war trials and Italian peninsula subjugation as the regional superpower. Roman citizens and their military forces considered themselves unbeatable on Italian territory. Consequently, encountering Pyrrhus's forces, armed with cutting-edge Hellenistic military science and elephant reinforcements, delivered not simply military defeat, but profound psychological devastation to Roman confidence. Florus captures the psychological impact on common legionaries with vivid description. Especially terrifying was the sight of towers on their backs and warriors who from above hurled javelins, as if from moving fortresses. Warriors positioned within these elevated platforms remained virtually immune to standard infantry weaponry due to their commanding height advantage. Vegetius Renatus, writing in his later military manual Epitome of Military Science, observed, "Their enormous size, the appearance of their terrible faces and trunks, their smell and voice struck terror not only into men, but also into horses. These combined factors disoriented and demoralized even Rome's most stalwart veterans. Furthermore, unfamiliarity bred supernatural dread. Were these merely animals or supernatural entities spawned by antagonistic deities?" This challenge targeted Roman tactical doctrine and Roman resolve equally. Despite initial trauma, Romans maintained their determination. Their characteristic pragmatism and rapid adaptability emerged during subsequent Pyrrhic War engagements. Here, we encounter the origins of that infamous Pyrrhic victory. During the Battle of Esculum, Roman commanders Publius Sulpicius Saverio and Publius Decius Mus had already implemented specialized anti-elephant tactical innovations. Roman forces totaling 40,000 cavalry and infantry deployed 300 anti-elephant contraptions. These devices consisted of specialized four-wheeled vehicles providing protected positions for soldiers equipped with harpoons, sickles, tridents, and extended torch poles. Though Pyrrhus achieved victory here as well, his losses proved so severe that he allegedly declared, "One more such victory, and I shall be left without an army." This engagement demonstrated elephant vulnerability rather than invincibility. Throughout following decades, particularly during Punic War periods, Romans perfected their elephant fighting methodologies. I shall detail their most successful techniques. Frontinus documents in his Stratagems that Metellus Pius employed specialized axe-wielding warriors against Sertorius's Spanish elephants, targeting tendon-cutting techniques. While representing a later historical example, this illustrates tactical thinking evolution. Against Pyrrhus's and Hannibal's elephants, Romans likely utilized extended and weighted pila alongside specialized spearing implements for delivering severe wounds. Soldiers identified another critical animal weakness: terror of fire and cacophonous sounds. Beyond torch-equipped vehicles, Romans employed incendiary projectiles containing combustible compounds. They developed techniques involving quicklime application to elephant hide, causing painful irritation when mixed with animal perspiration. Coordinated deployments of war trumpet blasts and warrior battle cries served to frighten and disorient the beasts. Furthermore, legionary training emphasized targeting vulnerable anatomical points. Soldiers received instructions for striking eyes, trunk bases, and less armored abdominal and leg regions. Polybius chronicles how Romans during the Panormus siege bombardment wounded numerous elephants with javelin volleys, forcing their retreat and subsequent trampling of Allied troops. An alternative neutralization strategy involved eliminating mahouts. Without guidance, elephants posed equal danger to friendly and enemy forces. Vegetius subsequently recommended archer and slinger focus on mahout elimination as optimal tactical approach. These represent individual legionary battlefield actions. Roman command-level military thinking operated on comprehensive army-wide scales. New tactical formations emerged. When facing elephant-equipped enemies, commanders exploited terrain advantages. Gaius Scipio Africanus's Zama tactics provide the most celebrated example. Polybius and Livy extensively document Scipio's innovative legion maniple arrangement, abandoning traditional checkerboard patterns for straight column formations, creating penetrable corridors. When Hannibal launched his 80-elephant assault, Roman velites and trumpeters used noise and javelin barrages to channel animals through these prepared passages, where they advanced harmlessly past main forces while frightened specimens reversed course, creating chaos within Carthaginian ranks. Now for the most entertaining and unconventional remedy. Ordinary pigs proved remarkably effective against elephants. Naturally, after initial tar coating and ignition for enhanced motivation, though direct evidence for widespread Roman burning pig deployment remains absent, Claudius Alien notes that the elephant fears the squealing of a pig. Romans possibly exploited this phenomenon by simply driving pig herds toward elephants, inducing panic without requiring tar and flames. Historical certainty eludes us, yet the anecdote remains compelling. Occasionally, legionaries applied pig fat mixed with sulfur to shield surfaces. The resulting stench proved unbearable. Elephants, possessing olfactory sensitivity dozens of times superior to humans, refused approaching such formations. Now we approach our most fascinating section. After mastering resistance against this novel threat, Romans naturally pursued incorporating this superweapon into their own military arsenal. I shall detail their development of proprietary elephantry units. Rome's initial elephant ownership experience followed Manius Curius Dentatus's triumph over Pyrrhus at Beneventum in 275 BCE. Dentatus captured no fewer than 4 elephants, featuring them prominently in his inaugural triumph. Historical records state, for the first time Rome saw elephants in a triumph over King Pyrrhus, and this spectacle caused the greatest amazement. Nothing so adorned this spectacle as animals of enormous size, which the Romans had not known before and called Lucanian bulls, after the name of the country where they were captured. The pivotal elephant era emerged through Carthaginian confrontations. Carthaginians extensively utilized North African forest elephants, which modern assessments suggest measured somewhat smaller than Indian varieties, achieving approximately 2.53 meters shoulder height. Hannibal's legendary Alpine crossing with 37 elephants achieved mythical status, though severe mountain conditions and subsequent combat resulted in nearly total animal casualties. Polybius records that following the initial Italian winter and Trebia engagement, Hannibal retained only one elephant, named Surus, the Syrian, which presumably transported the general during his eye ailment episodes. Rome's breakthrough moment occurred through consul Lucius Caecilius Metellus's Panormus victory, modern Palermo, in Sicily during 251 BCE. Polybius documents capturing a remarkable 120 elephants. This substantial animal acquisition enabled Romans to conduct thorough studies while establishing dedicated war elephant formations for numerous future military operations. During the Second Macedonian War's cynocephaly engagement against King Philip V, Roman consular forces included approximately 20 elephants, which, according to Livy, significantly impacted attacks on Macedonian phalanx left flanks before complete formation. The Magnesia confrontation against Antiochus III of Syria nearly produced direct elephant versus elephant combat, with both sides maintaining elephantry units. Romans fielded 16 African elephants opposing Antiochus's 54 Indian specimens. Romans successfully neutralized enemy numerical advantages through previously described tactics and flanking maneuvers, though direct animal confrontations went unrecorded. Livy noted that African elephants proved inferior to Indian counterparts in size and strength, therefore, did not dare approach them. Caesar's elephant utilization merits particular attention. He featured these animals prominently on his most renowned denarii, minted for loyal legion payments through mobile mints accompanying his armies during 49-48 BCE. This coincided with civil war initiation, immediately following his Rubicon crossing that challenged both Senate and Pompey the Great. The coin itself constituted unprecedented Senate defiance, representing the first private individual coinage minted without Senate consultation, violating established protocols. The name displayed Caesar. Above this name appeared an elephant image. Caesar selected elephant imagery because these animals represented both warfare instruments and propaganda tools. Contemporary coins functioned as personal mass communication devices for military commanders. The elephant symbolized Caesar himself, projecting images of overwhelming and unstoppable power. The creature beneath elephant feet, interpreted alternatively as a carnix, Gallic war horn, or dragon serpent imagery from Germanic standards, represented conquered enemies crushed for Roman benefit. This messaging targeted primarily his Gallic war veterans who had served 8 years under his command. The imagery recalled shared victories, glory, and spoils, while reinforcing loyalty during the new civil conflict. The Caesar inscription declared, "This is I, your commander, who led you to victory." Thus, elephants figuratively facilitated Caesar's Roman entry. Regarding actual combat applications, Caesar's commentaries on the Gallic War describe legion-based main forces supplemented by auxiliary cohorts and cavalry. However, one intriguing yet disputed reference mentions elephant usage during his second British expedition in 54 BCE. Polyaenus in Stratagems, a source requiring careful evaluation due to anecdotal tendencies and occasional factual inaccuracies, reports Caesar, crossing a great river in Britain, had with him one enormous elephant, an animal previously unseen by the Britons. He covered it with iron armor, placed a large tower on its back, in which he seated archers and slingers. When this animal entered the river, the Britons, struck with terror, fled with their horses and chariots. Dio Cassius similarly mentions Caesarian British elephants, though this might confuse later Claudian campaigns discussed below. Caesar's own commentaries omit elephant references. Reliable Caesarian elephant evidence relates to civil war periods. At Thapsus in Africa, fighting Pompeians and their Numidian ally King Juba I, Caesar confronted enemy elephantry. The commentaries on the African War thoroughly document how Caesar's experienced legionaries successfully countered these threats. Chapter 81 states, "When the elephants, driven by their mahouts, rushed at the legionaries of the 5th Legion, they began hurling pila at them. One of the elephants, pierced by pila in the side, turned back and, trampling its own, rushed to the camp gates. Caesarian forces employed javelins, axes for tendon severing, and slings while targeting vulnerable body areas and mahouts. One episode describes a 5th Legion veteran using an axe to sever an elephant's trunk. The elephant assault was not only repelled but created Pompeian confusion. After this defeat of the elephants, The commentary's author concludes, "The rest, seeing their fate, did not dare come out of camp." This demonstrates that by mid-1st century BCE, Roman legionaries possessed comprehensive elephant fighting preparation and effective combat methodologies. Following this battle, Caesar captured 64 elephants. Returning to Rome, Caesar celebrated quadruple triumphs: Gallic, Egyptian, Pontic, and African. African captured elephants undoubtedly featured in the African triumph, symbolizing victory. Suetonius mentions that during the Gallic triumph, chronologically first, Caesar was accompanied by 40 elephants with torches on the right and left. This innovative elephant torchbearer deployment emphasized processional grandeur and magnificence. Caesar also incorporated elephants into spectacular public games. Suetonius recorded, "In the circus he showed a battle of 2 regiments of 500 infantry each, 20 elephants and 300 cavalry on each side." These spectacles entertained crowds while demonstrating Caesarian power and generosity. The most celebrated later Roman war elephant deployment occurred during Emperor Claudius's British campaigns. Dio Cassius documented these events. Claudius brought with him elephants, the sight of which, as well as their armament, struck the Britons with terror. Armored elephants carrying combat towers from which warriors launched projectiles easily routed British cavalry and chariot forces. Their function remained predominantly psychological rather than purely tactical, designed to demoralize opponents unfamiliar with such creatures. Claudian gold coinage commemorating British victories features triumphal arch imagery, though without direct elephant depictions or corresponding legends. Nevertheless, all superweapons eventually become obsolete through continuous military science advancement. Just as modern tanks, formidable 8 decades ago, now provide easy targets for contemporary FPV drones, elephants during their peak effectiveness already possessed numerous inherent disadvantages. By the 1st century CE, Roman army elephant utilization became increasingly rare, virtually disappearing by empire's end. Multiple factors contributed to this decline. While modern heavy equipment enjoys railway transportation, ancient periods lacked such capabilities. Contemporary accounts document individual campaign elephants consuming massive food quantities while requiring enormous maintenance investments. Estimates suggest adult elephants consumed 100–200 kg vegetation daily, while drinking up to 200 liters water. Providing such fodder quantities during campaigns challenged even Rome's advanced logistical capabilities. Additional complications included reproduction and training difficulties. Wild elephant capture and transportation represented expensive, dangerous enterprises, while captive breeding proved problematic. War elephant and mahout preparation required years. As major conflicts with elephant-utilizing states, like Carthage or Seleucid kingdoms, declined, demand and corresponding handling expertise probably diminished. Military threat characteristics also evolved over time. Rome's primary late Republican and imperial opponents included peoples whose tactical doctrines excluded elephant usage, rendering their deployment ineffective: Parthian mounted armies, Germanic forest tribes, mountain peoples, etc. Among the final detailed Roman army elephant usage testimonies is Emperor Julian, the apostate's Persian campaign description from 363 CE. Ammianus Marcellinus mentions Julian's elephant contingent, though they apparently contributed minimally while creating substantial fodder complications rather than combat advantages. He also describes elephant deployment for Persian city wall destruction during siege operations, achieving limited success. Though gradually becoming militarily obsolete, elephants established permanent positions within Roman entertainment culture, evolving into imperial power symbols and exotic conquest representations. Triumphal processions eagerly incorporated elephant displays. Beginning with the previously mentioned Manius Curius Dentatus, elephants became essential celebratory elements. Plutarch recounts an amusing incident when Pompey the Great in 81 BCE, following African triumph, attempted Roman entry via four-elephant-drawn chariot, but the gates proved too narrow, and the elephants had to be unharnessed, which caused much mockery. Pliny the Elder describes Germanicus's triumph, where torch-bearing elephants advanced in precise formation, including one lagging specimen that rejoined the group by following scent trails. Such seemingly minor details achieving historical preservation and millennial transmission demonstrates the extraordinary attention and significance attributed to these magnificent creatures. Inevitably, brutal Rome incorporated bloody elephant spectacles. Elephants became featured performers in horrific circus and amphitheater presentations. Cicero, writing to his friend Marcus Marius following Pompeian Games, expressed profound revulsion and sympathy. There remained elephant fights, a spectacle that caused great amazement among the crowd, but no pleasure. On the contrary, there arose a certain compassion and thought that this huge animal has something in common with the human race. Pliny the Elder, documenting identical games, adds, "But when they, having lost hope of salvation, began to implore the crowd, addressing it with inexpressible gestures, as if complaining of treachery, the people, overcome with compassion and tears, rose up and began cursing Pompey." Emperor Nero, according to Suetonius, compelled elephant tightrope walking. Generally, we can definitively confirm Roman amazement at elephant intelligence. Pliny the Elder relates extraordinary accounts. It is known that one of the elephants, duller in learning, having been often beaten for this, was found at night repeating what he had been taught. Mucius said that he saw an elephant write Greek letters. Therefore, Roman-elephant relationships proved complex, reflecting pragmatism and cruelty, alongside curiosity and compassionate capacity. Throughout Roman artistic expression and numismatics, elephants primarily symbolized victory, particularly over Carthaginian or Eastern kingdoms, exotic Roman territories, and imperial generosity through game organization. Though elephant coinage remained relatively uncommon, instances consistently marked significant occasions or events reflecting crucial republican and imperial historical moments connected with these animals. Among the earliest and most renowned elephant-depicting coins are Republican-era denarii issued by the powerful Caeciliae Metelli family. Following Lucius Caecilius Metellus's Panormus victory in 251 or 250 BCE over Carthaginian forces, where substantial elephant captures occurred, family members began issuing coins featuring elephant or elephant head imagery, occasionally including triumph attributes like palm branches. This directly referenced their ancestors' distinguished achievement. Occasionally, coin elephants symbolized Africa as either provincial territory or military theater. For example, denarii associated with Gnaeus Pompey the Great's or his son's African campaigns might display allegorical African representations featuring elephant hide headgear, paralleling Hercules and lion skin, symbolizing continental identity. During imperial periods, elephant coinage became rarer, though each instance carried specific significance. Augustus coins celebrating victories or triumphs, such as Egyptian conquest, could feature elephants or elephant-drawn chariots, elephant quadrigas, symbolizing Eastern victories and exotic territorial acquisitions. For example, denarii minted circa 1918 BCE display reverse triumphal arches crowned with elephant quadrigas. Under Trajan, renowned for conquests and lavish games, elephants appeared on coins referencing circus spectacles or conquered Eastern territories. Emperor Hadrian's famous Provinces series included African denarii, frequently depicting African personifications wearing elephant hide headgear or accompanied by elephants, emphasizing this imperial region's wealth and exoticism. During Antoninus Pius and Marcus Aurelius' reigns, elephants appeared on coins related to imperial generosity or consecration, where elephants participated in funeral processions, similar to their usage transporting divine images or deceased emperor representations. And Antoninus Pius Sestertius honoring his deceased wife, Faustina, the elder displays elephant-drawn funeral chariots. Finally, we recall the coin I presented initially, Emperor Philip the Arab's issue commemorating Rome's millennium celebration in 248 CE. Philip the Arab organized spectacular games. Commemorative coinage depicted various exotic game animals, including elephants, symbolizing Roman greatness and prosperity. In summary, war elephant history within Roman civilization represents evolution from terrifying enemy weaponry to imperial policy instruments, and ultimately to circus entertainment objects and symbolic representations. Romans demonstrated exceptional adaptability when confronting novel threats, studying them thoroughly, developing effective countermeasures, and eventually converting these weapons to their advantage. However, changing geopolitical circumstances and warfare characteristics eliminated elephant military utility for Rome. Their subsequent fate centered on arena performances, where they simultaneously inspired admiration and horror while evoking compassion in some observers. The North African forest elephant, primary combat unit, supplier for Carthage, and partially for early Rome, achieved extinction by antiquity's conclusion, significantly due to intensive military and circus capture operations. Roman elephant history represents not merely military historical chapters, but vivid testimony to Roman civilization complexity, achievements, contradictions, and environmental influence. Friends, if you enjoyed my story about war elephants, please support the channel, like and share this video. Write in comments what aspects of Roman military history you'd find interesting to learn about. That's all for today. This has been Kirill, until we meet again on the fields of ancient history.